Oh my god, I didn't even get my phone. Give me a minute. Never mind, it's right here. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Yanbi Lee, and today I'm going to be doing a TV show recommendation video because I'm a huge fangirl, and the only thing better than watching TV shows is fangirling about TV shows with other people. And a lot of these TV shows, some of them may be mainstream and some of them may be a little bit older or more obscure, and I really tried to cover a bunch of different genres and topics so that anybody watching this video could find something that they really enjoyed. So yeah, there's gonna be like a lot of different types of TV shows. I didn't say Netflix because not all of these TV shows are on Netflix. Some of them are on YouTube, or you just gotta like, you know, find them. So the very first TV show I'm recommending is Scam. So if you don't know what Scam is, then you probably were not on Tumblr in 2016 when it blew up. And honestly, it is one of the best shows I have ever watched. Scam is a Norwegian-based show, and it covers teenagers going to high school and their lives and their issues and what they're going through. It is 4 seasons long, and each season revolves around a different character and each character struggles. So the show covered sexual assault, mental health issues, it talked about LGBTQ+, it talked about struggles people may have with their own religion, and honestly the representation in the show was great, the acting was great, and I highly recommend this show for anybody to watch. Oh, also the episodes are only 20 minutes long, so it's really easy to sit there and just binge an entire season when each season was only 10 episodes. It is absolutely incredible, and if you really enjoy Scam, I recommend that you watch all of the remakes as well. Yes, it's in another language because like I said, it's based in Norway, the original one. Honestly, it's not that bad because you just read the subtitles. I'll link it down below because there's like a Google Drive where you can find it. It's not on like any streaming service or anything, but yeah. The next show that I recommend that everybody watch is Sense8, and if you're more into like sci-fi, this is definitely a great recommendation. This show is about 8 people all around the world, and one day they suddenly become connected. They became connected by the mind, and they just could talk to each other like telepathically, and each one of them knew skills that the other person knew, and they could just like go into each other's bodies like at any given time. And honestly, that is such a cool concept, and the reason why I also loved this show so much, first of all, it did not get the recognition it deserved. I know season 1 did really well, but then season 2, Netflix did not promote it like at all. Like I didn't know about it because I rarely saw any promotional pictures or photos or promos on Netflix, and that's why I got canceled. And this show is honestly amazing. It is so underrated. I wish more people knew about it. One reason I loved this show so much is because each of the characters from their respective countries were actually casted from their countries. They didn't hire an actor from America to play a character from Korea. They actually casted the girl for the Korean character from Korea. She was actually a famous actor from Korea. So honestly, the representation was great, and not to mention they had a trans storyline, they had a lesbian storyline, a gay storyline, and this show has my heart forever. It is such a great sci-fi show that I definitely recommend. But it's a little more mature. So just a disclaimer. The next show that I recommend everybody watch is Gotham. Gotham is a prequel to everything we now know about Batman and the Batman series. It is great because you get to see how the characters you know and love, the villains, how they got to where they are. In my opinion, if you've watched The Flash and The Arrow and stuff like that, I definitely recommend watching this show because it is absolutely phenomenal with the acting. The sets look absolutely amazing to me. The vibe is so dark. Like watching the show is not as happy as The Flash. Another show that I recommend everybody watch is Pose. It is such a good show. I started watching it like when it came out. It's basically a show based in the 1980s where it covers ballroom culture, and basically ballroom culture was like a place where members of the LGBTQ community could really come out and express themselves, and it is such a good show, a great drama, and I love the ballroom where they have to like dress up in different outfits, and it's absolutely great. It's set in New York City in the 1980s, so if you like the 80s and if you like New York City, then this show is pretty great. And another reason this show is so amazing is because they actually casted trans women to play trans women. Honestly, what better can it get than that? And if you guys couldn't tell, I really appreciate shows that do cover LGBTQ storylines. I think it's really important, and I just love that more and more today, like, you see those types of stories on screen. Definitely something I appreciate. Another show I recommend everybody watch is Umbrella Academy, and yes, this one's a lot newer and a lot more mainstream, so if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend that you watch it. It's a show about these 7 kids that all were born on the same day and have superpowers, and they were adopted by this rich man to be the Umbrella Academy, like a little superhero academy. And the show starts off with all the kids reuniting again after their father has passed away. I really enjoy it because I like superhero stuff, and I also really enjoy how they talk about time travel. That's just something that's always been really interesting to me. And if you have seen the show, I'm going to do like a little like sidetrack. Watch Misfits. If you love Robert Sheehan, aka Klaus, if you like his acting, watch Misfits. That's where I'm pretty sure he got his like biggest break from. It's a show that came out like almost a decade ago, and it's about these 5 kids who are all like juvenile delinquents, and they're doing community service time together. And one day, as they're doing community service, there's like this big storm that magically happens, and they wake up with superpowers. The whole show basically revolves around them every day doing their community service and encountering other people who are affected with the storm and now have superpowers as well. And Robert Sheehan in this show is the best comedic relief, like, because Klaus is a huge comedic relief in the Umbrella Academy, so this show is definitely the same, and Nathan Young is an absolutely phenomenal character. So I definitely recommend you watch Misfits. If you haven't yet, it's on YouTube. I'll link it down below. Okay, that's been a couple of shows, and it's been 20 minutes. I'm still talking. A show that I recommend you watch if you liked Gossip Girl, then I definitely recommend you watch Dynasty if you haven't already. Dynasty is a great drama show. Like, if you liked Gossip Girl, you'll 9 times out of 10 definitely like Dynasty. It follows a character named Fallon Carrington, and the show is based in Atlanta, Georgia, and basically the Carrington family. And Fallon is about to inherit her dad's massive billion-dollar company, but something happens where that doesn't really happen, and so the show revolves around that and, you know, evolves past that. A show that I recommend people watch if you like cooking or baking or stuff like that is Zumbos Just Desserts. It is such a good baking show, oh my god, because the stuff that they create, because each episode revolves around these contestants, and they have to bake according to a theme, and then people who do the worst at that theme have to go into the Zumbo challenge, where they create something that Zumbo, the master himself, created. And it's such a great show if you like cooking and baking, because the pastries that they make on the show will make you so hungry. Another show that I recommend everybody watch is High School Musical, the musical, the series. So if you watch High School Musical, you'll probably enjoy the show. Okay, the thing is, I watched this show because I did not want to like it. I wanted to hate it, okay? But as I watched it, I was like, it's actually pretty good. So if you really enjoyed High School Musical and that type of deal, you'll probably enjoy the show. It's really nostalgic for me, which is why I watched it. And not to mention, it's like super cute with like the characters and I absolutely loved it, and I didn't expect to like it. So please give it a chance if you liked High School Musical. You'll probably end up liking it, and it's pretty nostalgic. So I had to fix my camera again. Okay, so Love, Death, Robots. Each episode revolves around a different theme of love, death, or robots. And what is so unique about this show is that every single animated episode is completely different in style because a different artist created each episode, and I think that's super cool, and you get to really see a bunch of different animation styles, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the show as well as the Love, Death, and Robots aspect. It is on Netflix, and I think they're coming out with a season 2 soon, so yeah. And the next show I recommend is kind of like a horror show, horror in a way. It's called 2 Sentence Horror Stories. You can find it on on Netflix. And the reason I call it horror is each episode is completely different, similar to Love, Death, Robots. Every episode doesn't revolve around a storyline. So each episode will begin with one sentence and it's kind of confusing and you're like, what does this mean? And then you watch the episode and it'll end with two sentences that now make sense because you saw the episode. I really enjoy this show. It's like a short little mini series type show. Each episode's like 10 to 20 minutes and some of them are pretty scary, so be warned if you choose to watch it. And with an E. I absolutely love this show. I started watching I think before season 3 came out, and it's more of a period piece type show. I think it was either set in the 1900s or the 1800s, one of the two. The reason I think the show is so great is because it follows this girl named Anne. She's adopted by these two siblings and they end up raising her, and she's not like most girls living in this era. She's really outspoken. She doesn't want to be put into a box. She doesn't want to conform. Society thinks girls and women should conform to, and she's just like really ahead of her time. And I didn't think I'd like it because period piece. I've only ever seen Rain as well, but I really gave the show a chance also because of Gilbert Blythe. I'll do a whole episode where I just fangirl about characters, because if I had $1 for every time I fangirled about a character, I'd have the money to afford the therapy that I actually needed. So the next show that I recommend is Teen Wolf, and this show is a couple of years old now because it ended a few years back. And in my opinion, Teen Wolf deserved the hype the Vampire Diaries got, because Teen Wolf is, in my opinion, just as great as the Vampire Diaries, and you actually like the main character. And it's about this young kid named Scott, and one day he's bitten by a werewolf, and it basically revolves around his journey of going into the supernatural world with his best friend Styles. You might know who Styles is because of Dylan O'Brien. And honestly, the humor is great, the acting's great. The supernatural world I personally enjoyed more than the Vampire Diaries because you get to see a lot of more supernatural beings than the Vampire Diaries, I think. So yeah, if you're looking for something different and you're into supernatural like the Vampire Diaries, I definitely recommend this show. So this show did not get the recognition it deserved. It ended a couple years ago and it's called Orphan Black. If you know the Vampire Diaries and how much Nina Dobrev was praised for being able to play Catherine and Elena, Tatiana Maslany deserved the absolute award for Orphan Black. This show revolves around this girl named Sarah, and she's getting on a train one night and she notices this girl who jumps in front of the train about to kill herself, and before she does, she looks at her face and it happens to be the exact same face that she has. And ever since that, she's on this journey of discovering more and more people who look exactly like her, and she's just wondering why, like why this is, what happened, just the story behind it. And this show is absolutely phenomenal. Lastly, the few shows that I have are my all-time favorites for anybody to watch, and since they're kind of old, I'm not really gonna go into description, just like a very minor one. So Gossip Girl, if you haven't seen Gossip Girl, it is a New York City Upper East Side high school kids type vibe, and it's like first world rich people problems. And I absolutely love this show because I love the drama and I love the New York City aspect of it. It is absolutely one of my favorite shows ever. The next show I have is Once Upon a Time. This show is about fairy tale characters, but with a twist. It follows this girl named Emma who on her 28th birthday, her son that she gave up for adoption shows up at her doorstep and takes her into this fairy tale town, and it's one of my absolute favorites. If you love fairy tales, then I definitely recommend checking this one out. It made me cry more than I think any other show. It's absolutely amazing. And another favorite of mine is actually Glee. I really enjoyed Glee because I really just like covers and songs. But the more I watch Glee, the more it feels like a parody. Like, tell me I'm crazy. Like, I feel like it was made to be a parody because there's so many scenes where I'm just like, this didn't happen? Do y'all know what I mean? Because some of them felt like that. And the last show I'm going to recommend is one of my almost top all-time favorites is Shadowhunters. I absolutely fell in love with the show. I think the actors are absolutely phenomenal and was a big reason why I love the show so much. The actors, in my opinion, did all of them justice. I absolutely adore Jace, Clary, Simon, Isabel, Magnus, and Alec. They're all so gorgeous. All the actors, they're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And if you've read the book series, then you'll probably really enjoy the show. And that is it for today's video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and if you could give this video a thumbs up. Please comment down below your favorite TV show, because I love watching new TV shows. I'm currently watching One Piece, which is an anime, but I'm open to watching any type of TV shows. As you guys can see, I have a huge range of genres that I really enjoy watching. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for viewing all the way to the end, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Oh, I need a thumbnail.